What's going on, guys? Will here. As you know my name, I got my co-host Dax here. You're watching Sparring Sessions. We're doing something a little different today. We got a guest of ours. His name's Julius Juicebox Walker. If you're watching our channel, we've been here for about eight or so months. We usually do fight predictions. We do a little bit of gambling, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We've done an interview before, but it was a really good friend of ours, so we're stepping out of our zone, interviewing a guy we don't know so much. He is Julius Juicebox Walker. He's 6-1 as a pro. Some people say 7-0, and I'm one of them. So, I want to say thank you for coming on to our show because we're the little guy, we're the small fry, but it does mean a lot for guys like you to come on to the show.
Dude, thank you for having me on, man. Us fighters, dude, we wouldn't. Nobody's gonna find out who we are without guys like you guys, and this gives us an opportunity to like show a little bit of our personality, which for us growing our brand, it's huge. So I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yeah, man, of course. Will say this, watching you come in on that Seattle card, I don't follow like every fighter I see, but I definitely followed immediately, man. Even before the fight, you got a good personality. Looking at your record, you got a fight on there, that's related to a good friend of the show.
Really?
Tuco Tokos, he fought Myron Dennis
Oh yeah,
a year before you did, I believe. He
yeah.
slammed him
And
for
he
uh
popped his
gr
arm out.
for grabbing that cage. That's what happens when you grab that cage.
Yep.
I'm sure you watched that fight.
Oh, I did. I
But
did.
yeah, that's one of my buddies right there. But yeah, I noticed you guys had a common opponent. I thought that was interesting. But following that, how did it feel coming in on like that in Seattle? It's not a place they go very much. How did it feel to fight a guy like Menafield? Because he's got a name, he's
Hmm.
he's got plenty of big wins. He's been in big spots. He's been, ranked and unranked. How did
Hmm.
it feel to fight him on short notice?
Man, so it was a crazy experience because I was, I was preparing for a heavyweight fight against like a 3 and 4 guy that, I'll be honest, I was like, I'm gonna mop this dude. And I was kind of,
Yeah.
doing my thing, and he was a big fella. So I was like, I want to try to weigh in at like 240, I was really eating as much as I could that fight
Damn.
camp and like still training. And then it's the Wednesday. My fight was supposed to be a week later, and it's actually funny. This dude, he was supposed to fight me, and then I got the call to go to the UFC, and then he ended up fighting Alvin Hines, and then Alvin Hines got the
Oh
call.
wow.
So he's
Oh
kind of like
wow.
the MMA good luck Chuck. If any heavyweights want to make the UFC, schedule a fight with Mark Courier. But so like
Uh,
I had just gone to get some pizza with my buddy. I'd smashed some Rocco's pizza, and I go home, I'm like 240, and my manager texts me and is like, "Hey, can you make weight next weekend?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." So I was like, "Yeah," because I knew he only asked that if it was the UFC. And
yeah.
I look at the Seattle card, and on the card at that point, you had Cerquera, who I'm actually fighting now, fighting
Yeah.
Bakauskas, and then you had Ebo Aslan fighting Kudalaba.
Mm.
So I'm assuming it's going to be one of those 4 guys. So I'm like, okay, like, any one of them, if it's the UFC, dude, you can't be saying no if they call you. Like, why would they call you again if they're giving you the opportunity of a lifetime? You turn it down. And then, 5 minutes later, he says, Mick offered you to fight Alonzo Menafield next weekend in Seattle. I'm like, oh shit, ranked guy.
Yeah.
This is huge. I say, yeah, I contracted in my mailbox within an hour. It's on social media the next day. Like, they're like, you're on the main card. And
That's
then
sick.
also, another point you made about Seattle was the fact that it's one of those cities they hadn't been there in 12 years. So it was really cool being
Yeah.
there because it was a big deal. Like everyone was like knew UFC was in town, and like a bunch of people were super excited. Like when we went out after the show, everyone was all excited. And I already know
Yeah.
Vegas is just not going to be like that because it's Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think Vegas has a little bit of that all the time. I've
Exactly.
been there. I've been there for some fight weeks of friends, man, and it's just yeah, I guess it gets watered down with all that excitement because it's just, how excited can you be when it's 365 24/7,
Right. It's Vegas.
Um, Yeah, man. Seattle kind of seems like a cafe town. It's probably got some pretty cool bookstores. You know what I mean? You know
Yep.
what I mean? Cool stuff like that. Yeah.
Coffee
Yep,
shop on
yep.
every corner, dude.
Yeah,
You've
man.
never you've never seen more Subarus and sweater vests than if you go to
Woo.
Seattle, Washington. It's pretty funny.
Oh man, we love a good Subaru story. Yeah, man. So how does it feel to be in the UFC? It's been X amount of months,
Hmm.
especially, six fights into your career, you got a shot into the UFC because you had a good size Amy stretch too, where
Hmm.
you got some experience in there. Talk to us about how that feels and like tell us a little bit about your background before fighting. Like when did you start training?
Hmm.
What jobs have you worked? What jobs are you working?
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so dude, getting the call was crazy. It took me a long time to be like, yeah, I'm a UFC fighter. And like now it's so crazy because like I had gone and cross trained. Like I remember I went to Extreme Couture in Vegas like 3 weeks before I got signed or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone was cool, you know what I mean? People talked to me and were like, "Oh yeah, nice. You're probably right on the cusp." And then I come back after I get signed and like everyone's like, "Oh shit!" Like it's almost like you're in the, you're at the table, you're at the lunch table in high school
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
So that part was super freaking cool. And it's still something I take pride in, but I'd really like to get a win, So whatever
Yeah.
people, because you tell people you're in the UFC, they're like, "So how many fights have you had?" I'm like, "One," and they're like, "Did you win?" And I'm like, "No," and then they're like, "Oh."
Oh
Um,
man.
but yeah, man, I started training in 2019, as actually August of 2019. So at about a month, I'll have been training for 6 years. Before I started training, I had no combat sports experience. I played basketball growing up. I was playing college ball. I graduated high school in 2017, and
That's when I
then
graduated. That's wild.
let's go gang gang, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we
yes, sir. 2017, baby.
that's the best class ever, really, if you look at it. You look at it objectively.
Nah, bro, we
But
turned 21 in a pandemic, man.
dude, straight up, bro. I'm July. I'm a '99 baby, so
May. Literally, so it just happened. My birthday's in May, and then I can't do anything. It's horrible.
it was freaking stupid. But no, dude, I played ball for 2 years in college. I got done. So it was May 2019. I wasn't playing ball anymore. The girl I was with, I knocked her up. So I've got my first daughters on the way. You know what I mean? I'm at a Christian school. They caught me with some weed in my car. Like
Oh
I'm
God.
about to lose my scholarship and everything. So I had to quit. I had to quit basketball. 3 months later, I'd been working overnights at a hotel, just sitting right in the pantry all night long. Sorry, Hilton Garden Inn, gaining weight. And then I just like I one of my buddies from high school did jujitsu. He was a purple belt. He had started when we were like sophomores, and so he'd been doing it like 5 years and was a purple belt. And I was like, dude, so how do you start jujitsu? Because I was like, I need to do something. I can't. I was having a hard time going to like consistently lift weights with no purpose and all that. So I go in and he's like, dude, you just show up, go to the gym, So I showed up, go to one gym. It was cool. Go there for a week, and then I go to Team Fusion, my home gym that I've been with since I started. And from the minute I walked in, family atmosphere, dude. Everybody welcomed me, and I literally signed up my first night. Took me like 3 weeks to go to an MMA class because I was nervous about getting hit in the face. And my first MMA class, I was sparring one of the guys who was actually a pro at the time. Literally my first, or it was like my first, or probably my second MMA class. And I remember him cracking me with an overhand right. And I'm thinking like, man, this is gonna suck when he really hits me in the face. And the first time he hit me in the face, like it was weird because I was just like, oh man, now I want to hit you back. Like that was all I felt, and I was like, dude, this might be for me. And I
Yeah.
specifically remember I looked over at my coach, and I'd only been training in total for probably a month, and I looked over at my coach, and I was like, dude, I want to fight on that card that's on in January, and it's like October. I'm like, can I fight in this January card, please? And he's like, dude, like, I mean, you're an athlete, but it's only 4 months. Um, and he was like, you know what? Yeah, just come in as much as you can. Get in here every day, every week. Go running, and you got to cut to 215. And I was like 260. So I was like, okay. I was like, all right, we'll make it happen, and I did it. And my first fight went well, and dude, I was hooked from there. And I worked throughout my amateur and the beginning part of my pro career. I did a few different things. Like I worked at a bank for a little bit. Um, I was a teller. I graduated from college. I got a degree in finance after my pro debut, and I started selling insurance and financial products. Trying to do the financial advisor thing, and I pretty quickly found out it wasn't for me. I was one of those. I was that guy from high school that called you and was like, "Hey, bro, I started a financial planning business." And it just,
Oh
dude, it
God, that's
wasn't,
rough. That's a rough space to be in, man.
dude. And I know you guys had somebody from high school call you, man, right? But I was like, you know what, dude? I told my wife, I was like, I'm gonna send it, man. I was 2-0 as a pro. I was doing pretty well. I just got signed to Iridium, and I was like, let me send it. I'm gonna try this as hard as I can, and I'm gonna try to make the UFC. I said, give me 2 years. Give me 2 years, babe, and I'll be in the UFC by the end of 2025. And then it ended up being the beginning. It all worked out good.
That's awesome, man. It's been pretty quick for you, man. And some people it takes them 15 years, 20 years. Just nonstop grinding. So, I think your athleticism is getting you really far, and that's something that not a lot of fighters get, man. So I think
Mhm.
that's really valuable for you to have, and I can definitely say I'm a fan. You're fighting a guy in Rafael Sequeira that hasn't looked great in the UFC. He's what does Derek Lewis say?
He's a
He's
taxi cab
fighting.
driver.
Yeah, he's a cab driver. He's fighting off the Uber drivers on the block. This is my block. Uh, he's one of those guys. He's getting put out by a guy like Bukowskis that's not really known for sleeping guys dead like that. Um, I don't want to poo-poo on him too much, but I'm not a fan of his, and I don't think I'll be interviewing him anytime soon. So, yeah, how do you see that fight going? And what do you do? What will you do differently in this matchup than you did with the Menafield fight?
Man, so I think Sir Carrot definitely, if he whatever skills he hasn't gotten a chance to show him in the octagon. Because everyone's kind of just came in and steamrolled him.
Yeah,
And if you look at his regional record, it wasn't, he wasn't fighting killers. But who knows? Maybe he's got something special up his sleeve. I know he's got some decent training partners, and he's been doing this for at least a decent amount of time. But honestly, I feel like I'm better everywhere. I feel like I'm more of a physical guy. I feel like I'm more imposing. I think that I'm really disappointed that we didn't redo the fighter pictures because my shape's way better, man.
notice that.
I
Notice
would have had
that.
a pretty flex in my fighter picture, but we didn't get to redo them. So I'm
Oh
still gonna be
wow.
using that old one from Seattle. But man, I'm telling you, I think the way that I see this fight going is I'm gonna come out, put the pressure on him, and I think I'm gonna knock him out. You know what I mean? I think it'll be the third first round knockout he suffered in a row. And I'd say the biggest thing and probably that I think is going to be different from the Menafield fight is the Menafield fight. I pretty much came out with the game plan of I'm going to wrestle this guy for the whole first round and try to gas him out. And instead of gassing him out, I accidentally gassed both of us out. So this time I'm going to try to make sure that I'm going to try to make sure I don't gas out both guys. Just beat up one.
Yeah, for sure. If you watch this channel for a while, we gamble here, and some fighters don't like to hear it. Some fighters love to hear it, but I'm pretty confident in you, my man. And my pick of the week is you in round one. So you're lining up for everything what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So yeah, that puts some confidence in my pocket. So I
Let's
appreciate
go,
that.
baby. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir. You're out in Vegas. How do you like the PI? PI sick, right?
Dude, the for fighters, man, the PI is
We,
incredible. It's
the PI
it's
sick.
cool. It kind of reminds me of like when I was playing basketball in college. Like when I was hooping in college, you had the meal plan, so you could go eat whenever you wanted. I remember we had dollars at the little campus cafe, and you're getting free stuff and that sort of thing. With the PI, dude, they've got literally everything you need. Like as a fighter, if you're in Vegas, you can 100% eat for free. You can just eat the PI
Yeah,
food.
it's sick.
I'm like if you plan it out, like, and you're not stupid. And I mean, the thing is, dude, that I feel like a lot of people don't even realize is like the UFC will literally for 8 weeks before your fight pair you up with a nutritionist and like literally send you food. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know how these dudes are missing weight, to be real with you, but like the PI, like they've got everything. They've got so you got the food, you got all the recovery that you could possibly need. like hot tub, cold plunge, sauna, red light therapy, cryotherapy, underwater treadmill. There's physical therapists that you can schedule time with. So like if
Yeah.
you need a massage or whatever the frig you need, they got you. There's strength and conditioning coaches that you can schedule time with if you want to get a strength and conditioning session. Like there's literally everything you need, and on top of that, it's crawling with high level training partners for you.
Yeah.
So just walk in there and be like, "Hey, bro, what are you doing? You want to train?" And you'll literally find you get to train with the best guys in the world. So it's pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, man, the PI was dope, man. I've been there a few times, and sometimes I get a little numb to like being around in the space, but I remember vividly. I was in the bathroom of the PI, and I come out, and then like there's locker, there's like there's
Yep.
lockers, and then you go to the right, and then there's bathrooms and all that stuff.
Yep.
I come out, and then I'm like, oh, that's Volkov right there, and he's like 6'8". I'm like, I'm gonna leave out. I'm gonna get out of here. Because like I don't look like I'm supposed to be in there, but whatever. Yeah, it's an awesome place, and I'm really glad that fighters like you get a chance to go in there. And the physio room always has something cool in there. They have like those little nose strips and stuff like that. We were in there. I grabbed a handful of those things. Just sleep with the nose strips on.
Yep.
Open those your
Open those
nostrils right
pathways,
up.
baby.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, man, it was important. You know, uh before we finish up here, I want to ask you, how fast do you want to get to the top? Your career's already gone pretty quickly. Um there's fighters like Walter Walker that say, "Hey, I don't want to go too fast. I want to get these fights in before I get to ranked opposition, or I don't want to be ranked yet." Do you want to go? Do you want to slow roll it and get the experience, or do you want to go? Or do you want to hit it quick?
Man, I think where I'm at is like, I'm 26 years old, and the way these UFC contracts work is it doesn't matter who you fight, you're getting paid the same.
Yeah.
So like I would say for like right now, if you will, I'm like an NBA player on a rookie contract, and I already fought a top 15 guy on my rookie contract. So like ideally, I get at least a little bit of build time. But like, when they if they offer me somebody, like the way that I look at it is now that at this level, it's the UFC communicating with my manager. And if my manager brings me a name, that means I'm capable of beating that guy. He's not going to bring me a name that I'm not capable of beating. And I think on my day I can beat whoever. So you know what I mean. Whenever they come to me with people, I'm gonna fight who they bring me, and ideally I'm fighting guys that it's going to produce a fun matchup. You know what I mean? So really, dude, like obviously, I want to move up fast, and I want to fight everybody, but I've still got to at least play it somewhat smart in terms of the contract and everything. But whoever they offer me, dude, I will not be saying no to fights. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, man. I think it's been really good talking to you. I think people watching this have learned a lot about you, and I think me and Dax have done that. I really appreciate you coming on. I told you I wasn't going to have you on too long, so I really appreciate it, my man. I know you got a weight cut coming up, and I know that Wednesday night, Thursday morning, people get grouchy on that weight cut, man. So I want to let you go. I want to thank you. I'm Will, that's Dax, and this has been a sparring session. So thank you guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.